Hello beginner students. So today I'm going to go through with you how to play Hot Cross Buns and Mary Rocks, which is actually the same as Mary Had a Little Lamb. But before we do that, let's just start with a bit of a warm up, play some of the strings on our instrument, make sure everything's set up well, just feel really comfy with everything. So I think I'll start with my cello. But you grab your instruments, cellos. Make sure you've got the spike out the end. Violin and viola players, make sure you've got that shoulder rest on there. I'm going to check our posture before we start. So cello players, I want you to be sitting right at the front of your chair with your feet flat on the ground on either side. Sorry, you can't actually see this bit. And we're going to hold the cello firmly in between both your knees. So I don't want to see the cello wobbling around. Nice and firm in between both knees. And you're going to remember bow hold. So with our bow, which we've made sure is wound up, so the hairs are straight and there's just a little bit of bend in the middle. Seeing as I've got my cello here, let's do cello bow hold first. So we're going to do floppy, 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 and then just straight plop on top. Fingers hanging over, but the palm of my hand is flat. Like I could put a cup of tea on top and it wouldn't spill off. And I'm just going to curve my thumb in like this. We can put it in here, in that rock, just resting on that little edge there. Or if you prefer, you can tuck it in there for the moment. So thumbs in there like that, fingers over, and then strong hand for cello players because we don't want to let this muscle collapse. So we don't want to let your fingers go flop over this way, and we don't want to let your fingers go flop over that way. And there's our cello bow hold. Okay. For violin and viola players, you know there's an extra step. We have to do the tilt as well. So you're going to be going floppy, 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 tilt out this way so that your fingers are pointing out towards you. And then I'm going to put middle two fingers over here. This one's hugging up here and pinky is resting right on the top. And the same with thumb, curved in, no banana thumb, right on that edge there, or you can put it in that little hole for the moment if you want to. So that's what our bow hold should be looking like, nice and relaxed and curved. But I'm going to switch back to cello bow hold. And let's just play each open string 4 times. So we're going to start on the lowest pitched open string, which for cello and viola is your, that's right, C string. For violins, you're going to be playing your G string, and then we'll go up along. So cello and viola, we're going to go C, G, D, and A. Violins, we're going to go G, D, A, and E. And let's play each string 4 times and use a fair amount of bow right down into the string and check that your bows are staying straight. I'm going to keep moving this. Got to get it in just the right place. When it stays straight, no, still further back. In between the bridge and the fingerboard. So that's where we want the bow to be straight, in between these points. So parallel along there. So we don't want it to be going crooked like that, and we don't want it to be going crooked like that. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to make sure I'm set up. Violin and viola players, I hope you're standing up. Better to stand up if you can rather than sit down. And you've got your instrument level with the ground like this. So it shouldn't be a rocket up in the sky, shouldn't be a sinking ship, just level with the ground. Make sure you've got it tucked firmly under your chin there. Don't let your head be able to move around. Great, let's get started. C string cello and viola, G string violins. Let's play each string 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. C. Next string. Next string. And top string. done. Okay, now let's get on to left-hand fingers. We're going to talk first about putting the fingers down and which fingers we use, and then we'll talk about reading the music. Okay, so again, seeing as I've got my cello here, let's start with how to do it for cello players. So violin and viola players, you keep listening. We'll get on to you soon. So cello players, we're going to pop your thumb at the back of the neck here, flat. So it's not going to be curved on its tip, but it's just going to be flat back here. So just back there along there. And then we're going to curve your fingers around and put them on their tips, on the markers that we have here. So cello players, you should have 3 markers on your instrument. I'm going to show you what they look like. And they're for 3 of your fingers. So you can see the 3 dots there. And they're for 3 of your fingers, but not your thumb, because your thumb's back here. So 3 of your fingers over here. And we're going to give them numbers. And this is actually the same for violin and viola players as well. Pointing finger is 1. This one's 2. This one's 3. And this one's 4. And thumb gets nothing. It's just thumb. So if any of you play piano, you might go, that's not how you number it. Thumb is 1. Actually, string instruments, it's different. We number the fingers differently, which can be a bit confusing, but you'll get used to it. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. For cello players, thumb flat back here, we're going to curve over. Finger 1 here on the first dot, press it down, and then 2 and 3 together, because we're not actually doing 2 on its own at the moment. So 1, 2 and 3 together, and then 4. And you can see at the end I've got all 4 fingers held down. So I haven't done this. I haven't got one sticking up in the air, they're sticking up in the air. I leave them down. So 4 actually means all 4 fingers. And I'm going to be pressing them down on the D string. So top string, A string, go back 1 for cello players, and there's your D string. And so maybe cello players, while I show this to the violin and viola players, you can try and get this set up and try and do some tapping of your fingers. Tap, 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 finger 1. Then hold finger 1 down, tap, 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 2 and 3, nice and strong. Then tap, 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 finger 4. You've got to be strong to play cello. Good muscles in those hands and be able to press those strings down. Now, because I put my spike in so you can see this properly, I don't have my instrument in the right place. So I'm going to put my spike back out again so you can see where my scroll should be. So my scroll should be sitting right back behind my shoulder there. That's where it should be sitting. Hopefully it won't get caught up in your hair. I know that sometimes happens with girl players with long hair. It should be sitting there. And then my fingers are here and my elbow is just out a little bit so it can be a straight line. We don't want to be doing this. We don't want to be doing this either. Just a nice, comfortable, straight line reaching out like this. Some people say it's a little bit like you're going to eat a hamburger. Like you lift it up to your mouth like that, and then you're just putting your fingers on like this. Let's get on to violin and viola players. So, for you, we're going to be putting your thumb flat on one side, over here, and the base of finger 1 on the other side over here. So that's going to be pad of thumb here on one side and bottom of finger 1 on the other side. So those are the 2 bits that are going to touch one side of the neck and the other side of the neck. We're going to have a little bit of gap in the middle here. You can think of it as a gap for ants to run through. You don't want to squish the ants, so leave a little bit of gap there. So hopefully you can see what that looks like there. Thumb on one side and this one over here. We don't want to do this and have the thumb sticking way up in the air. I don't want to see your thumb. Go back down here, but just nice and flat, not on its tip or anything like that. And then violin and viola players, you know your fingers are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. So then we're going to be pushing them over. I'll show it this way now. Thumb on this side, flat finger 1 here. I'm going to push over finger 1 here, 2, 3, no 4. Don't use 4 yet. Now, with your markers on your instruments, most of you should just have 2 dots. We're using fingers 1, 2 and 3. You might go, why only 2 dots? I need 3 dots. This is for finger 1. We're going to put 2 really close to this one, but a little bit lower. And then 3 goes there. You can see 2 and 3 are right next to each other. So that's why you've only got 2 dots, because you don't really need a marker for finger 2, because it just goes next to finger 3. Now if you look at your neck and you go, I've got more than 2 markers, I've got 3 markers, maybe I even got 4, then please take a photo of the neck of your violin or viola and send it to me, and I can explain what fingers it's for, because like there's a few people that might have stickers instead of markers, or you might have tape. So if you're confused about where your fingers go and you don't just have these 2 dots like mine, do that and I can tell you where to put your fingers. So thumb on one side, base of finger 1 over here, finger 1, and my fingers are leaning over a little bit, so they're slightly tilted. You can see they're slightly tilted over here. We can go tap, tap, tap with finger 1 on the D string, tap, tap, tap with finger 2, nice and firm, curvy fingers, tap, tap, tap with finger 3 as well. Good work. And I hope cello players, that's what you're doing right now. Tap, tap with your fingers. And I've got nice straight arm along here. Okay, good work. After you've been doing this tapping, you might find that you've got little grooves on the tips of your fingers. That's okay. That's fine. It might even be a little bit sore, but it's not really going to cause you, it's not like it's going to cut into your fingers or anything. Let's get on with reading the music. So, when we put a finger down on a string, it makes it sound different. So we were playing our 4 strings before, G, D, A, and E. Those are the strings for violin. Here's my D string. If I put a finger down on the D string, it sounds different. So now, because it sounds different, I'm going to give it a different name, and it's the next letter along in the alphabet. So this is D string, A, B, C, D. Finger 1, I'm going to call it E. And then the next finger along, I'm going to go A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. And then the next finger along, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, what do you think? It's going to be G. And you might go, oh, I already know G. We've got open G. We've got this G over here, but this is another G. So this is a new G. A high G, which is all the fingers on the D string. And it kind of actually sounds a little bit like open G. So that's a new G note. And to get those notes, for violin and viola, D, finger 1 is E, finger 2 is F sharp. You might say why sharp? Don't worry about the sharp, it's just what we call it for the moment. And finger 3 is G. But cello, your fingering is different because, can you remember? With you cello, you're going 1 and then 2 and 3 together and then 4. So your fingering goes D, no fingers, E, finger 1, F sharp is finger 3, and G is finger 4. So we go 1, 3, 4. No finger 2. 2 just goes down with finger 3 as well. Okay, so what does that look like with music? How do we know when we're meant to do fingers? Well, I've got here this page, which has some notes that you already know. So we've got, you can see there's the different clefs. Violin, you're looking at this top line here with the treble clef. Viola, you're looking at this line here with alto clef at the start. Cello, you're looking at this line here with bass clef. And we've got our 4 open strings. So cello and viola here, C, G, D, and A, and violin we've got G, D, A, and E. You already know those notes, you know how to read those notes. But we've got some new notes in here, and those are the notes on the D string. And you can see how each note is just climbing up a little bit higher up from the D note. So 1 up from D for violins, that's on the bottom line. Viola, that's on your 3rd line. And cello, that's in your third space. So one note higher, and just like you would have learned with classroom music, it's going line, space, line, space. So you will actually be able to print out a sheet with the names of all the notes on all 4 strings. This has only got the notes on the D string. And you could go through and highlight with yellow highlighter the notes we know now, which is these 4 strings with zeros, which means no fingers. And then we know the notes on the D string as well now. And then when you're going to play a piece of music, grab your sheet with those highlighted notes and put it on the music stand. And if you're reading along and you're like, I don't know what that note is, check over here and go, aha, it says it's E finger 1. And you'll know it's D string note right now because we're only doing notes on the D string. So let's try that with hot cross buns. Grab your method book. I've got cello hot cross buns here. Now we see some fingers, see some numbers. That's actually giving you a little bit of a clue about what fingers to use. And you might go, what string? What string do you think? D string, that's right. So this here, we could read through first, and we're going to read it through and say the names of the notes. So for hot cross buns, I'll count to 4, and then we're going to read through what the names of the notes are. I won't hold this book up because I want you to be looking at your book. So I'll count to 4, and we're going to read through the names of the notes for hot cross buns. 1, 2, 3, 4. F sharp, E, D. F sharp, E, D. D, 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 D. E, 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 E. F sharp, E, D. This time, let's say the fingers that you do. Now, this is where it's a bit tricky for me because cello and violin and viola do different fingering. So maybe I'll just leave a gap for your F sharp because cello's do finger 3 and violin and viola you do 2. So when it's that, I won't say anything, but you say the right thing. Let's say the fingers now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, open. 1, open. O, 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 O. 1, 1, 1, 1. 1, open. Now you might go, what are you doing when I say open? When I say open, I mean no fingers. So if we're just playing the D string with no fingers, we tend to call that open D string. And then a third way that we can go through this before we actually play is we can clap the rhythm. So with this one, we're going ta, 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 za, rest there. And then these ones along here are TTs. They're not ticka-tickas, they're TTs. So let's try clapping the rhythm. Now I can hold this music up for this one because we've all got the same rhythm, even if we've got different notes. Let's clap the rhythm. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, 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 za. Ta, 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 za. T, 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 ta, 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 za. Good work. Now that's actually what I want you to do every time you play a piece of music. Go through first and say the names of the notes. Go through first and say what fingers you're doing, unless it's one of those pieces at the beginning of the book that don't use fingers. Then clap the rhythm, and then finally grab your instrument to play. So let's do that now. I think I might play it on violin this time. Now you've got to make sure everything is set up really well every time. So again, we're going to check that shoulder rest. We're going to check the bow hold. We're going to check your violin is level with the ground, not up here, not down here. Chin is on chin rest. My head is nice and level. I'm not going to be doing this. I'm not going to be doing this. Just nice and level tucked in there. Then I'm going to make sure thumb flat on this side. Base of finger 1 over here. Now we're starting, what note are we starting with? We're starting with F sharp, which for violin and viola is 2 fingers. So I'm going to finger 1 on the D string and finger 2 stretched up there. It's not on top of the finger 3 sticker, is it? But it's pretty close. So I've got those two fingers pressed down nice and firmly. Now pop the bow on, check it straight, not like this, not like that. And let's try playing hot cross buns through together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. F sharp, E, D. Rest. Put those fingers back down. So we're going to put 1 and 2 down for violin and viola. 1, 2, 3 for cello. Let's try again. F sharp, E, D. Rest. Now we've got just D string, forward D string. D, 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 D. 4 finger 1. And then F sharp, E, D. Good work. Let's try it again. And this time I'll play it on cello. So cello players, I didn't really make it clear that with your F sharp, you've got to be starting finger 3. So cello, 1, 2 and 3 down, pressing nice and firmly on the D string, bow on the D string. Let's play it through. I won't talk this time, just straight through. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great work. Okay, last thing, we're going to do Mary Rocks, which is the same as Mary Had a Little Lamb. Now, I would like you now to pause this video and go through Mary Rocks, saying the letter names, saying the finger numbers and clapping the rhythm. And then come back, because I think you can work that out yourself now. And then you can try playing it through with me. I might play this again on cello. I don't play my cello that much at school, so good to play on. And let's try Mary Rocks through. I'll count to 4 again. Check bow hold is doing well here. Might move this back a bit again. And check our fingers nicely curved. We've got our elbow out here. 1, 2, 3 on the D string, because we're starting on F sharp again. Here's Mary Rocks. I'll count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Long notes. Long notes. F sharp again. Now I have also got a sheet you can download with some tips on getting a good sound on your instrument. If you say, oh, I'm playing, but it doesn't sound like Mrs. Eastgate, so yuck. It can take a while to learn how to do a good sound. So keep playing even if it doesn't sound good. But a few ideas are, make sure the bow is straight, not crooked. Make sure it's firm bows and fast bows. If you do light bows, doesn't sound good. And if you do crooked bows, it also doesn't sound good. And then make sure your fingers here press down nice and firmly. If you don't press them down firm, it sounds like this. So you've got to, especially cello players, you need to press down with a little bit of force there. Last thing, make sure you're playing with the bow and your fingers on the same string, because sometimes people, their fingers over on the bottom string and the bow's over here, and you know, why isn't it changing notes? And that's because obviously the fingers and the bow need to be on the same string. Okay, so give that a go this week. Maybe see if you can send me a recording of how you're doing with Mary Rocks or hot cross buns, because I'd love to hear how you're going. Any questions, let me know. Okay, happy playing.